It's the summer of 1916 and thousands of men are dying each day. World War I has taken on an intensity and fervor that history has never seen the likes of. It just so happens that 24-year-old J.R.R. Tolkien is there at one of the bloodiest battles in the entire war, the Battle of the Somme. And he lasts a couple months and he's sent home with trench fever. But what he saw changed everything. And while he's recovering, this is where he begins to build Middle-earth and the Lord of the Rings and the book we're going to talk about today, The Hobbit. It's impossible to know how his experience in the war changed him forever, but one thing is for certain, he had a newfound respect for life and death. He even said that this quote was the foundation for the entire Middle-earth. All men must die, but for every man his death is an accident, and even if he knows it and consents to it, an unjustable violation. In this summary, I'm going to summarize the book in 5 sentences, then I'm going to share my 4 favorite quotes, and then I'm going to tell you 3 things that I loved about it, and then we're going to dive into the details of the book itself, and finally we're going to end with the things I didn't like so much about the book and actionable takeaways you can actually apply to your life and start using them now. Here is The Hobbit in 10 words. Bilbo Baggins, dwarves, Gandalf, adventure, slay dragon, battle, get treasure. To summarize The Hobbit in 5 sentences, Bilbo Baggins gets dragged into an adventure that he didn't ask for. He joins the 13 dwarves all the way to the Lonely Mountain to help reclaim their treasure from a dragon named Smaug. Along the way, they run into lots of different encounters, from trolls, goblins, even giant spiders. Along the way, Bilbo finds the infamous ring, and we also meet Gollum. And finally, the book is truly about discovering things that you didn't know you were capable of once you leave your comfort zone. Here are my 4 favorite quotes from the book because, you know, I always love a good quote. And here's the first one. This thing all things devours, birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal, slays king, ruins town, and beats high mountain down. And of course, this one is time. No matter what, time is coming for us all. Number 2, so comes snow after fire, and even dragons have their ending. And that comes from Bilbo, and of course, that's after they slay the dragon. And the third one, to the end of his days, Bilbo could never remember how he found himself outside without a hat, walking stick, or any money, or anything that he usually took when he went out. And this is one of my favorites. It's about the don't think attitude that I always preach. Don't think about it, just go take the action, and something good will usually happen. The more we think about it, the more we talk ourselves out of it. And the 4th one is this one. If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. And this one is from the leader of the dwarves, Thorin. And how true is that, right? We always pursue money and gold and treasure, but really, if it was just food and song and dance, a lot of us would be much happier. Here are the top 3 things that make this book so outstandingly good. And the first one is just the world he creates of Middle-earth and dragons and dwarves and elves and goblins. It's really, truly magical. And the second one is Tolkien's ability to create such relatable and lovable and even evil characters, especially when it comes to, in this book, Bilbo and Gollum and Gandalf. It's really impressive. And the third one is the audiobook. I am a big audiobook fan, but the audiobook on this one is so good. That is what makes this book even better. Diving into more of the details of the book, it starts with getting out of your comfort zone. So Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit who lives at Bag End in the Shire in Middle-earth. He's a hobbit, right? Very predictable, nothing extraordinary, no adventures ever. And we meet Gandalf in the beginning of this book, and he knows him from childhood. Gandalf has chosen him to be a burglar to help the dwarves, these 13 dwarves who want to go reclaim their treasure. So we start there with getting out of your comfort zone, just going. Of course, Bilbo didn't want to go. He was trying to resist, but Gandalf more or less convinced him to do it and that he was going to be perfect for it. And so begins the adventure. But as much as you sometimes just need to not think and just go take action, other times you need to actually think and get clarity on where you're going. So of course, Gandalf leads them to Rivendell, home of the elves. They kind of regroup and learn some more information and figure out exactly where they're going and what they need to know when they get there. So of course, as always, clarity is so important in life. You need to know where you're going to get to where you're going. And this is where things get real, and they're on their way through the Misty Mountains, and this is where they run into some trolls and then the goblins, and they get captured by some goblins, except for Bilbo Baggins. This is where he ultimately finds the ring, and we meet Gollum. And it's in this famous meeting where they play this riddle game, and basically Bilbo ends up maybe breaking the rules a little bit, but in the end he actually wins and keeps the ring. Although he could kill Gollum in that moment, he doesn't. And that's one of the other lessons, is that kindness, no matter what, always trumps everything. Gollum is such an interesting creature because he represents what Bilbo could become if he gets corrupted by the ring long enough. So we get to see what could happen to Bilbo and what the ring is actually capable of and how evil it actually is. After escaping the Goblin's cave, of course, that's when the adventure just starts to begin. Soon after, they're attacked by wargs, then saved by eagles, and then they're all captured by spiders except for Bilbo, because he gets away because of the ring. And in a frantic scene, he fights a giant spider and actually wins, and he kills it with a sword that he calls Sting. And this is the moment where he actually shows his true courage and what he's truly capable of. And this is kind of the hero's turning point. Then from there, he goes and sneaks in with the help of the ring, frees the dwarves, and then from there they go and fight off the spiders and get away. And then after that, of course, they're on their way through Mirkwood Forest, and they get captured by elves. Eventually, Bilbo comes up with a really cool idea. I still remember this one quite vividly, of getting the dwarves out on barrels that come out from underneath. Eventually he gets them all out, and they get out on these barrels that float down the river, and they go all the way to this town called Lake Town. So they finally get up Lonely Mountain, and they find the secret doorway that leads into the treasure, and where Bilbo Baggins steals a cup. And of course, Smaug doesn't know right away, but he wakes up and he's furious, and for a couple days he flies around, and eventually he goes and attacks this lake town that is down below the mountain, and in the process of attacking, he gets shot with an arrow. So the dwarves have their treasure. Story over, but not really, because once everybody finds that the dragon is done, they all want a piece of the treasure. So all of a sudden, all of these different people come from all over Middle Earth to make claim on the treasure, and this is when the Battle of the Five Armies begins. Bilbo gets knocked out somewhere in the battle. Some people don't make it in the end of the story. I won't spoil it for you, but the war ends, the treasure is reclaimed, Bilbo gets a little piece, but interestingly enough, he only takes 2 little chests. At the end of the book, Bilbo returns home to the Shire, but he's lost all respect from the other hobbits, because basically to be a hobbit means you stay home, you garden, you do what you're supposed to do, and you stay comfortable. But now Bilbo was this strange, eccentric character with tales of dragons and goblins and gold. It just made me think a lot about J.R.R. Tolkien's time in World War I and his experience. And maybe when he came back, he was different from the rest of the people in the world who had never experienced that and could never understand what he went through and what he saw. If you like this summary and it has you thinking a little differently, you can check out the link down below. Just if you want to check out my deep dive summaries, they go super deep, and I'll be making more videos. But if you want the written version with all the details and more personal information about how the books changed me, you can check the link down below. And the rating of this book is no question 5 stars, excellent. I believe you should read this if you're into anything about The Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit is the perfect place to start, and reading the book or listening to the audiobook is truly exciting and entertaining. And it's just amazing to me that this book was inspired by something that happened so long ago in World War I. It's certainly a must-read for anybody who likes fantasy, adventure, and it's great for all ages. Now, here are the things that I didn't like about the book, my contrarian takes. To be honest, this one was a bit difficult because the book overall, it's a fiction book, it is what it is, but some of the complexity and the characters shines through. It's very easy to just read this book and be entertained. But if you want to actually understand what's happening like I did to make these summaries, it gets a little bit complex, and the magical universe that he creates, there's a lot going on. There's no question. And that leads me into the second thing that I don't love so much, and it's not so much about the book, it's about that he created such a massive universe that you kind of have to go into a little bit of a rabbit hole just to figure out who this person was and how did they know each other. Even at the beginning I was like, where did Gandalf come from? How did he know Gandalf out of nowhere? He just shows up. Once you get enough information, it definitely makes the book a little bit more enjoyable, in my opinion. Now, as always, I want to end my books with actionable takeaways, and yes, you can still get actionable takeaways from fiction books. So here are two from The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And the first one is, in the first 24 hours, do one thing that you've been avoiding that makes you really uncomfortable. And I know these days, one of the biggest things is people making content. They're afraid to make content. I know I was terrified. Do that. Put a clock down, you got 24 hours to make one little video, or go approach someone, say hello to someone at the market today when you're out and about, a stranger. It'll make you feel a little uncomfortable. Just anything where you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, that's weird. Do it. It'll be worth it. Trust me. Second one is to write down a quest or an adventure that you want to go on within this year. So it could just be a one-sentence adventure that you want to basically focus on for the next year, and that's it. Stay on the path, as Gandalf says, don't leave the path. And the final question to leave you with is this: will you be ready when adventure comes knocking at your door? Thousands of men are dying each day in World War I, and are you kidding me? He's fighting at one of the bloodiest battles. Fuck. Even quoting Gandalf knows Bilbo. I really don't even know what I'm saying. And the Baggins family lives in the Shire. Oh my.